Okay, so yesterday we were sketching out, you know, some potential market shifts we might see.
Right.
And, well, they've definitely been an eventful 24 hours since then.
It really has.
So today, we're diving straight into the action from May 21st using the Grok Trade Daily Market Summary.
That's the plan. It's our roadmap for today.
Yeah, covering everything stocks, crypto, metals. So yeah, should be interesting.
And like you said, following up on yesterday, today's moves, well, they give us some interesting confirmations.
And maybe some surprises, too.
Maybe some surprises, exactly. We want to take this Grok Trade overview and, really get underneath it.
Figure out why things moved today.
What triggered them and what they might signal about that bigger economic picture we keep discussing. Our mission for you, really.
All right, let's jump into the stock market first. Saw some pretty significant turbulence.
Yeah, it did.
The big indices, SPY, DIA, QQQ, all down. But the IWM, the small caps, that really took a hit, down, 2.81%?
That's a notable drop. And it really fits with what we were talking about yesterday, right? About potential frothiness, maybe overbought conditions in some areas.
Definitely feels connected. And the way the day played out, Grok Trade highlighted this.
The intraday action?
Yeah. It started with a bit of a rally, then a really sharp drop around lunchtime.
Exactly. And that VIX spike, nearly 15%. That's basically the market's fear gauge jumping up.
Yeah, it really highlights that shift in mood during the day.
Big time. Shows how quickly sentiment can turn.
And here's the direct link, like you mentioned. Grok Trade is pointing to those overbought conditions.
The ones they've been mentioning for several days now.
Yeah, as a likely catalyst for this pullback we just saw.
It seems like a textbook case, almost, of what we were considering might happen after that run-up.
But Grok Trade also adds a note of caution.
They do. And it's important. They mention that these overbought signals, well, they can stick around for a while.
So not necessarily an immediate trigger every time.
Exactly. It doesn't guarantee a downturn right away, which, underlines why having a plan is so important.
A disciplined approach, like Grok Trade often talks about.
Right. Instead of just reacting to the day-to-day swings, you need a strategy.
Okay, let's pull back a bit then. Look at the bigger picture. What economic stuff might be feeding into this stock market pressure?
Yeah, because it's not just happening in a vacuum.
No.
Grok Trade points out a few things. First, there was that Moody's downgrade of the U.S. credit rating late last week, Friday, I think.
Right, citing the budget deficit getting bigger and that huge $36 trillion debt number. Reuters reported that.
Yeah, a staggering figure. And these are those underlying worries we've touched on before about the long-term fiscal health.
So that downgrade, it kind of sends a signal to investors.
It does. About the perceived risk of U.S. debt. And that can have knock-on effects, like potentially raising borrowing costs for the government, maybe dampening confidence overall.
Yeah, and then there's the bond market itself. Treasury yields moving up.
Specifically the 30-year Treasury yield. It briefly went above 5% today.
Wow, 5%. That's the highest since, November last year?
That's what Bloomberg and CNBC are reporting, yeah. And think about it. When yields on safer things like government bonds rise,
it makes riskier assets, like stocks, look a bit less attractive.
Exactly. It pulls capital potentially, adds pressure.
And the fiscal stuff just keeps coming, it seems. There's this proposed tax bill.
Ah, yes, the one moving through the House Budget Committee. Came out Sunday.
And the projections, according to Reuters, are that it could add another $3 to $5 trillion to the deficit over 10 years.
Yeah, that's not going to calm any nerves about the country's finances, is it?
Not likely. Adds more uncertainty long term.
Definitely. But, it's not all negative on the economic front today. We need to balance this. The actual economic data that came out, it's a bit more mixed. Grok Trade notes this, too.
Like what?
Well, Q1 GDP dipped slightly, 0.3%. Seems related to tariff impacts. But crucially, consumer spending, still looking pretty resilient.
Ah, okay. So consumers are still out there spending.
Seems like it. And another piece, core PCE inflation for April actually eased a bit, down to 2.6%.
Core PCE.
Yeah.
That's the one the Fed watches closely, right? Strips out food and energy.
That's the one. Nuveen highlighted that easing, so it suggests underlying inflation might be cooling slightly.
So it really is kind of a tug of war then. You've got these big worries about debt, yields going up.
Right, those macro headwinds.
But then you see the consumer holding up okay and maybe inflation easing a tiny bit.
Precisely. It shows the market's reacting to those big fiscal concerns, no doubt. But there are still pockets of economic strength. It's a complex picture.
Okay, let's completely switch gears now. Because crypto, Very different story today.
Yeah, total contrast.
Bitcoin actually hitting new all-time highs, getting close to $110,000, up 1.5% today.
Incredible run. And it just continues that momentum we've been seeing and talking about in our recent deep dives.
It really seems disconnected from the stock market drop today.
It does, which is interesting in itself. And Grok Trade asks that question, It'll be interesting to see just how far investors are willing to take this thing.
Posing the question, yeah. It really captures that strong momentum, maybe even like speculative energy driving it.
Could be, even with all the broader economic worries floating around.
And it wasn't just Bitcoin moving up in the alternative space. Precious metals, too.
Right. Gold saw gains, GLD up 0.7%, but silver, SLV, that was up even more, 1.23%.
And Grok Trade specifically mentioned silver continuing that breakout.
Yeah, from the bull flag pattern. We discussed that pattern recently when looking at alternative assets.
So it suggests people are still looking for those kinds of assets.
Seems like it. When you see uncertainty or declines in stocks, investors often look for alternatives. Maybe perceived safe havens or just hedges.
So the gains in gold and silver, they kind of reflect that same risk-off feeling we saw pushing stocks down.
Yeah, just expressed differently. Moving into metals instead of out of stocks, or maybe doing both. It points towards caution.
Now, before we summarize, it's probably worth mentioning Grok Trade's general philosophy here.
Sure, they always emphasize their approach.
Yeah, focusing on like a structured, disciplined way to trade. They mentioned their mentorship program.
Right, backed by their experience, over 40 years combined, using evidence, technical analysis, and a big focus on managing risk.
And that focus on a plan seems especially relevant on a day like today, right? With those big swings.
Absolutely. Having a strategy helps you avoid those emotional knee-jerk reactions when the market gets volatile like this.
Okay, so let's try and pull it all together then. The key takeaways seem to be that stock market pullback, probably influenced by those overbought conditions we flagged yesterday.
And amplified by those economic anxieties, the downgrade, the yields, the deficit worries.
Right, but then you have the counterpoints. Consumer spending still looking solid, inflation maybe easing a touch.
That resilience is important.
And then obviously the strength in Bitcoin and silver, performing well as alternative plays while stocks stumbled.
Yeah, the divergence is stark today.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for you, the listener. Given these really different moves, stocks down, but crypto and metals up, what might that tell us?